As many of you guys know, the San Francisco 49ers starting quarterback Brock Purdy was injured in the last game against the Eagles in the NFC Championship, and this caused the 49ers to be extremely ineffective and lose that game. But what not a lot of people are talking about is the main issue here, and that issue is Kyle Shanahan and him ruining QBs. He continues to ruin QBs, get them hurt, and act like it's okay and that his play calls have nothing to do why he's only had 1 year since he's joined the 49ers, since he's only used one quarterback. This year, he used 4 quarterbacks and had to end up using a 5th quarterback, which is a hurt Brock Purdy, who might miss, oh, by the way, 12 months because he completely tore his UCL. And if there's significant damage, it requires a Tommy John surgery. I know they report 6 months, but if it requires a Tommy John surgery, that's a 12-month process. He misses all of next year, all thanks to Kyle Shanahan and his play call. And I'll go over his playing calls and why he continues to think it's okay to utilize quarterbacks in this way. Like they're a dime a dozen, you have plenty of them on your roster when you only have 3. And really, last game, going into the Eagles, your primary thing should have been taking care of Brock Purdy. And it wasn't. It was really just trying to make yourself look good and make it, oh, it's Kyle Shanahan's thing. And then you came in after the game, after your quarterback just tore his UCL, and at the minimum, at the best case scenario, has a 6-month recovery in front of him. And you said, oh no, that's how the play was designed. You had Tyler Kroft, a tight end, not George Kittle, not the best tight end on your team either. It was your 3rd best tight end maybe? Blocking wise, I think Warner was better. I think Dwelling might be the same exact blocker as him. And you put him on Hassan Reddick, who was obviously way better and like a Nick Bosa type player, and you think that he's going to be able to block him. And then what happens? Brock Purdy, you said, oh, it was going to be a big play if Brock Purdy stepped up in the pocket and delivered the ball to Brandon Ayuk. He should have stepped up in the pocket is what you were saying. You didn't say that it was a bad play design to put Hassan Reddick on Tyler Kroft. And guess what? It's even worse about the situation. If you called it in the game and it wasn't in your opening script, I'd be like, okay, maybe it was just a miscue. It was in your opening script. You were like, you know what I think a good matchup is today? I'm going to put Tyler Kroft on one of the best defensive ends in the league, and he'll be able to cover him. It'll be easy, you know? Is it because you don't believe in Mike McGlinchey, or what is it? And then later in the game, you did the same exact thing with Josh Johnson, and guess what happened? He also got killed. But this time you did put George Kittle on him, but that still didn't help. I don't know why you think that with premier edge players that can really ruin the game, you put a tight end on them. And then later in the game, when you really only have one quarterback, and that's your whole chances of going to the Super Bowl, instead of doing max protect or trying to make it easier on Josh Johnson, who is clearly flustered, you leave Mike McGlinchey, who everyone knows is a liability, one-on-one against him. And then what happens? He gets knocked out. And then you have to put back in Brock Purdy, the dude who just tore his UCL. Oh, and if, by the way, you do damage those ligaments more and more when you continue to do a motion, get hit, you know, all that stuff. Oh, making the chances probably more likely that he will have to end up having a Tommy John surgery. So not only did Kyle Shanahan get Brock Purdy hurt originally in the game, he got him hurt a 2nd time essentially by probably re-aggravating an injury. And I know people are like, oh, you can't do that. If you continue to go on something that's totally broken and busted up, you can hurt it more and make it so you do have to get surgery. And maybe Kyle Shanahan did that. We don't know yet. And that's such a negligent thing to do as a coach. It's so disrespectful to your quarterback, to your team, to the fans, to everyone. And then instead of, putting in someone that could throw actually, or make your offense, I don't know, resembling something, you could put Jawan Jennings back there. He used to play quarterback. But you know what? You really wouldn't have to put Jawan Jennings or have an injured Brock Purdy possibly re-aggravate his throwing arm if you kept Trey Lance healthy. If you kept Jimmy Garoppolo healthy, then you would have 3 quarterbacks on your team, like a normal team. You know what's crazy to me? Patrick Mahomes is still playing. Joe Burrow is still playing. Jalen Hurts is still playing. He missed a little bit of time. But Kyle Shanahan's literally had season injuries for all these players. Trey Lance, Brock Purdy, and Jimmy Garoppolo. And Brock Purdy's could be season ending for the following year. I mean, that's ridiculous. And all of this is Kyle Shanahan's fault. He ran Trey Lance up the middle multiple times a game, up to 13 times a game at the start of this year, and was using him like Elijah Mitchell. He was using him like Jordan Mason. Trey Lance was the Jordan Mason before Jordan Mason came on the scene. He was a running back. It was ridiculous. And to spend 3 first-round picks and use them like that is just so bad and so disheartening, especially for anyone that's rooting for the team or has any faith in you, Kyle Shanahan, because that's just a questionable move and quite disgusting to come out after the game and say, well, it's a football play, and that's what teams do. Josh Allen does it all the time. Josh Allen didn't do it that much, and that that was reckless, and Trey Lance isn't a runner like Josh Allen. Trey Lance isn't as big as Josh Allen. Trey Lance is a better thrower. He's not a great runner, and it's ridiculous. You said that you wanted a quarterback who can throw and run, not like just run all the time, but you were treating Trey Lance like that, not developing Trey Lance, because you're honestly not a good quarterback developer, and you ruin quarterbacks consistently throughout your career. You did it to RG3. You're lucky you didn't stay with Kirk Cousins longer, because you would have done it to him. Every single quarterback you touch gets injured, Kyle, and you try to act like it's not your fault. It's not your play designs. It's just fluky. Things happen. But then on the next injury, Jimmy Garoppolo this year, what happened? Jimmy Garoppolo obviously tried to spin out and carry those dudes, but where was a hot route forward Jimmy Garoppolo? Isn't that a play design thing? You're such a genius at these play designs, but you're such a genius at getting your quarterback hurt is what it seems like to me. I mean, it's really remarkable how you can blow big games and get your quarterback hurt. It's like the 2 worst things you could have in a coach. A coach that has anxiety issues when it comes to big games and does horrible play calls, horrible play designs, and just trash all the way around when it comes to big games. And if you want to question me on that, how many Super Bowls does Kyle Shanahan have? And how many years has he had one of the best rosters in the NFL? I mean, Andy Reid would have had a Super Bowl with this roster. Nick Sirianni probably would have had a Super Bowl with this roster. I mean, Kyle Shanahan's ridiculous right now. And him trying to act like the injury to Brock Purdy had nothing to do with him shows that he's not someone that's growing. He doesn't think that he has anything wrong with him, his play designs. He blames people. He blamed Tart last year for losing him the game. He blamed, oh, Purdy got hurt. What do you expect me to do? My quarterback got hurt. Blame. Man, it's fluky. It's not my play call. Kyle Shanahan strikes me as someone that doesn't do a lot of introspection into himself. And that's just my personal opinion. Obviously, all this stuff's my personal opinion. But how is he not able to see a pattern in his career of continually getting quarterbacks hurt? I mean, it is ridiculous. Since he's been here, only 1 season for the 49ers with their quarterbacks finishing all the way. And people are going to keep saying, oh, it's just because they're injury prone. Trey Lance is injury prone. Jimmy Garoppolo's injury prone. Brock Purdy's injury prone. Josh Johnson's injury prone. Yeah, we keep stacking up this list and saying all these people are injury prone. Maybe the real thing is Kyle. Kyle's ruining quarterbacks at a feverish rate. And even if he got Tom Brady, I mean, Tom Brady might get ruined by him too. I mean, these play designs and when they're called and against who and with just reckless abandon, especially when you're in a situation where you can make it to the Super Bowl. I mean, anyone would have had a better play design than that played Madden. It's embarrassing. Okay, and one more thing. All these Eagles fans being like, yeah, baby, we're freaking winners. We're going to the Super Bowl. I think you guys are going to lose pretty quick. You guys did not look impressive against the 49ers. What happened is that when you lose 2 quarterbacks and you basically have nothing on offense, you make yourself completely one-dimensional. What do you expect to happen? There's no reason to hit the Gundam style on 49ers fans and being like, we're way better than you homies. Yeah, you guys won this game, but you didn't do it in an impressive fashion. You just did it by injuring 2 people. And if you're celebrating injuries now as a football fan. That's just disgusting. Those are the reasons why I think Kyle Shanahan it's not gonna matter if Trey Lance is the next Steve Young or Brock Purdy's the next Joe Montana, because at the end of the day, they have Kyle Shanahan for their head coach. And it's really, at this point, I'm not sure how much more 49ers fans want to continue to do this dance with Kyle Shanahan of him having one of the best rosters in the NFL, but continually blow it. Coupled with the fact that he takes no accountability for any of the injuries that he's caused his quarterbacks, makes him sound like an offensive coordinator and not a head coach to me. But those are just my thoughts. It's just my opinion. I don't know. I'm just some random guy online. I want to hear your guys' thoughts though, even though you're random people online, down below in the comments section. I'd like to, see what you guys are thinking, if I'm totally off base, if I'm on to something. I just interested to see how other people feel about Kyle Shanahan and this quarterback issue that he's had throughout his whole entire career with the San Francisco 49ers. And please subscribe, like the video if you enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching. It means a ton. I really appreciate all the support.